What's up, YouTube? So I want to come through and talk about Black/African Americans career paths and the social capital factor. All right. And some of you may be wondering, what is social capital? What is that? All right. So this definition comes from a woman named Rochelle Parks-Yancy. All right. And this definition is in her book titled Equal Work, Unequal Careers, African Americans in the Workforce. And here is a photo of the book. It's in black and white. Well, the photo is. The real book is a different color. All right. So, social capital is defined as the following. All right. The relationships among people in a social group. For instance, family, work group are a group based on other forms of affiliation in which resources are exchanged among members. These resources provide specific career benefits that include obtaining job information from social contacts, having social contacts that can influence employment decisions, and knowing individuals with the direct authority to make hiring determinations, which is also called opportunity. Social capital also includes access to financial resources from social relationships. Long story short, all right, social capital is basically connections, the connections that you have, all right? And you all have probably heard the saying, right? It's not what you know, it's who you know, all right? All right, so next I'm going to read this article, which is a summary of the book by Rochelle Parks-Yancy called Equal Work, Unequal Careers, African Americans in the Workforce. So yeah, so this is pretty much a summary of this book here. I'm going to read through and kind of give the highlights of it because I really think there's some interesting information in regards to how social capital factors into career advancement for African Americans. So I kind of want to just go through that right quick for you. And also this article was published in the Monthly Labor Review. That is a periodical published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This article was published in May 2016. All right. And the author of the article in the summary is Mary Ellen, I think Iris, or Aris, right there. And the author of the book is Rochelle Parks-Yancy. All right. So let's begin because it has some interesting information here. All right. So in spring 2015, the Congressional Black Caucus 46-member diversity task force sponsored Tech 2020 in Washington, D.C. All right. And let the tech industry know that it quote-unquote meant business when it asked that a large segment of the industry's new hires in the next 5 years be African Americans. All right. And, you know, that prompted the author of the article to look at this book and, you know, go through this book and kind of give a quick summary of it. All right. Next, and this part is really interesting. All right. When Google released its diversity figures in 2013, all right, the public learned that 83% of Google's workforce was men, all right, and 60% was white, with only guess what percent black people make up? Guess. With only 1% black. All right, 1%. And I think at this time in 2013, I think Google had about 47 to 48,000 employees, and 1% of that 47 to 48,000 employees were black. 1%. So that amounts to about between 470 to 480 employees out of 47 to 48,000 employees being black. And honestly, I think, and this is gonna sound a little shady, but I think probably a lot of those employees were like security, front desk, janitor, right? Right? It probably was like a couple of tech dudes thrown in the mix, but you know how that go. Next, company leadership was 72% white, 23% Asian, 2% black, and 1% Hispanic. But the portions of blacks has lagged behind that of whites in almost every industry. Park-Yancy points out. All right. Next, so early in her book, you know, she says that the studies indicate that 80% of all jobs are found through social capital connections, right? Capital that African Americans, whether highly educated or not, have lacked. All right. So next, whites are more likely than blacks to complete college, and there are considerable differences in student choices of college majors. That is a factor. Um, you know, blacks often major in education and social work as opposed to business, engineering, or computer science. Right. Next, Parks-Yancy, the author, points out that a number of nonprofit and government social programs offer social and financial support to youths from disadvantaged backgrounds. These programs give a leg up to those who fail to have access to social capital in their sphere, or to those whose resources offer few career returns. All right. So that's one way that Rochelle Parks-Yancy suggests, black people dealing with this issue, with like going through like nonprofit and government social programs. Those can, help offset the lack of social capital. Moreover, social capital is important to moving up within an industry as well as changing jobs across organizations. Progressing at work includes being promoted, having access to specialized training, and being assigned to major projects and more. Still, let's see. When it comes to black people, blacks have found opportunities at all levels of government in which civil rights legislation has been actively supported. Included in government are the staffs of public schools at all levels. The author points out that a number of African Americans have access to social capital resources from philanthropic organizations, universities, corporate programs, and work-related contexts that took an interest in them. Without these interventions, historically disadvantaged groups would probably remain so within and across generations. So it seems like connections are going to be, again, social capital is going to be a factor in career trajectory in all people, in all groups of people, really. Parks-Yancy recommends networking for a college-educated black student seeking a job. One possibility is getting to know key professors who may be a conduit to an internship or a job referral. A student can achieve this aim by consistently visiting the professor and discussing the subject matter with him or her. And she goes on to say, quote unquote, if the executive of a major corporation speaks to students about his or her career, students should make a concentrated effort to talk with that speaker after their presentation. This includes introducing themselves, discussing their career ambitions, discussing potential job opportunities, and obtaining the presenter's business card. All right. She also goes on to say that middle class or working class African Americans who are not students can use a similar technique. Keeping in touch with mentors, getting involved in activities related to their work, participating in civic and social programs, and actively networking with all adults who are in such programs. Career management also includes membership and active involvement in professional organizations. Involvement can lead to accessing a variety of social capital resources. So that is the end of the article. And I just wanted to share that information with you guys and just see what you think. Do you think that social capital connections have played a major part in your career advancement, or perhaps your career stalling? What do you think? Because I think this is something that you perhaps don't learn about in school, right? This is something that low-key you kind of learn about outside in the real world, on the streets, right? But I just wanted to share that with you guys and see what you guys think. So let me know in the comments section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.